Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium, numerologist, healer, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there is always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Psychic Hour. Thank you for joining us today. Hello, hello. We have the lovely Jennifer Rose in the house, and we will be talking about psychic energy, life. We are going to be taking questions in the comments, not in reading style today, but just in energy and also your experiences, maybe even if you want to talk about dreams, if you want to talk about how you've been feeling with the atmosphere, with the energy of the new year, or just what's going on within your life. So we're going to look at things from an energetic perspective and talking about things from that spiritual and philosophical place as we encourage you onward and talk about our own experiences. So we're working with that energy. Hello, everybody coming on in. Hello, hello. I'm going to give a shout out to Kathleen, Andrea, Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer. Keith, lots of love to Keith and Jennifer. And Lynn, yes, lots of love. Thank you, thank you. Jasmine, Tammy, hello. Jennifer is like, where do we start? I think we should start by bringing Jennifer Rose in. That's where I think we should start. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Jennifer. Hello. Hi.
Hi, Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Hey, everybody. Good to be here with
you. It's great to have you. Hello, Dominic. Hello. We're just saying hello to everyone coming on.
Yeah.
In. Lois, thank you.
Hey,
for
everyone.
Hey, you're getting shout outs. They're waving to
you. I'm really happy to be here today. It's kind of fun to be on the other end of the of the show here today and hang out with you, Kelly. So thanks for asking me back. I appreciate it. And really good to see everybody here. Thank you for joining us and supporting.
Absolutely. It's more relaxing on the other end. You know, I would say for the most part, it's more relaxing. I love it. Courtney already has a dream question for us. Courtney, we'll get to you in just a moment. Thank you for, popping down already, ready to go. I love it. Jennifer, always a good start. Lots of love to you and everybody. Hello, Regina. Hello. And hello, lovely. That's really nice. Thank you for all the love, everybody. Hello, hello. So, Jennifer Rose, you are a friend of mine and a friend of the show. You've been on many times before, and sometimes we do readings and sometimes we talk energy. So we're talking energy today. And please, if you can, let people know a little bit about yourself again.
Oh, thank you, love. Hey, everyone. I know most of you, but anyone who's new here I'm a spiritual medium, psychic medium. And I call myself a multi-medium. So I do traditional evidential mediumship. I'm also a trance healer, a trance speaker, channeler as well. I'm educated in physical mediumship as I've been attending physical circles for many years as well. I run a Sunday service, a Sunday spiritual service with mediumship and healing and inspired speaking. Every couple of weeks, I've got one this Sunday with the lovely Annie Show from Santa Barbara. So we're excited to be back. It's our first service of the year. I'm also a teacher, so I teach classes and workshops and development circles. And I have a show on the Sacred Spiral Network on Fridays as well, the Embracing Infinity. So I keep quite busy and I love doing everything that I do as well. I love speaking and helping wherever I can help. Hey, Sid. And poor Sid is sick. We got to send him some love and healing. A lot of people are sick right now. This terrible flu has really got people.
Everybody hanging in there. Yeah, a lot of people are getting over something. She's a small, yes, that's
medium
a
at
class right there. a multimedia one at that. Hello, I want to
That was
say shout out to
clever.
Nancy
Hi,
too as
Nancy.
well. Hey, Nancy, and love to Lynn. And oh, okay, so wow, we have so many questions, and we'll
Yeah.
just hear it as we go. But you have a lot going on, and on just so everyone knows, you have like a spiritualist style Sunday service, um,
Which
with
you were
lots
in.
of yes, yes,
You're
and
part of
that's on
Team
the
Angel, as is Nancy and Fran.
that's right. Shout out to Team Angel, um, and you have that on the 26th where people can come to as well.
Yeah. So you can sign up on my website, www.mediumjenniferrose.com, and just find the event and click on it and follow the steps. It's free or it's donation. And I always give a portion of the donations to a charitable cause as well. So we do a lot of humanitarian work as well with that too. So keeping the love flowing and giving back. So very proud of that.
For sure. And you just did a charity mediumship demonstration with a bunch of mediums. And that was for the California fires. So that was on the 19th, was it?
Yeah, it was was it Saturday or Sunday? It's all a blur to me now.
Was it Saturday or Sunday?
I know, I'm trying to remember which it was. Oh my gosh,
If
I
it's
think it was
Sunday, it was
Saturday.
the 19th. Oh,
It was
Saturday was the 18th.
no, then it was Sunday. I can't remember. Anyways, we did really, really well. We had a beautiful forgive me, it's all a blur. There's been, so much energy moving in the universe. And so we're already in that space. But anyways, it was beautiful. It was 9 mediums, including myself. And we raised over $600 for hi Christopher, hi Michael Christopher, for the American Red Cross and Direct Relief, which will specifically go to the California wildfires, because you can click where you want the money to go, and to the Pasadena Humane Society, because they're helping all the animals right now, specifically the ones in the fires. They've kind of put the adoptions to the side and are helping with relief with that too. So that was a really big success as well. So thanks everybody.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Thanks, Lynn. Yes, it was Sunday the 19th. Yes. Thank you, Lynn.
Lynn's helping us. Thank you, Lynn. And then hello, Michael. Hello, Jessie Cat. Hello, T. Lynn. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Nice job at the
Thank you,
fundraiser. So many people need help. And the animals, and
Yeah.
they're still going in and helping animals. And it's like day 13, 14. So
I know. Yeah.
it's a lot.
It is. Yeah. And it was very divinely inspired, because it practically came together overnight. It's like I got the idea, and within 2 days, I think we were a go. And it was like, wow. And it's like whoever was free was able to do it. And I was just like, I was so impressed with spirit and all my mediums. And then everybody who showed up were quite generous. It was very much a container of love that we were all in together. So yeah, I know it makes me want to cry a little bit, but
That's a good thing. That's a great
we did our
thing.
part. Yeah. Thank you.
And prayers to everyone in San Diego too, because there's fires in San Diego right now that they're trying to contain. So it's been a wild beginning to the year. It really has. We're in a cycle of 9. That's all about clearing out old energy and making way for new beginnings. But first, we have to handle like the really heavy stuff. And it usually, even though it's not always the nicest feeling year, good things come from it. So a lot of people are feeling, actually, that I've talked to, at least, I don't know how you have felt, Jennifer, but very positive this year, even though there's some really heavy stuff happening. A lot more positive than other years, I've noticed.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way too. I can feel the heaviness. I can feel that. I can feel the deep transformation that's happening, but I am feeling pretty positive and light as well at the same time, so which I'm quite grateful for as well. So there's definitely, it's kind of like a spring cleaning in early winter that's happening right now. And however when we do those types of clear outs, whether it be emotionally or physically, mentally, spiritually, however you want to put it, it does bring that fresh fresh new beginnings in, fresh new things in. And that's important. It's important. And that brings in a new flow of inspiration and motivation, and it develops momentum. And I've also found that because we're all connected, it starts to rub off onto the people around you. So if I find myself doing something of a clearing nature, then somebody I'm connected to all of a sudden starts doing it too. And I'm like, well, look at that. Look at that. It's contagious in a good way. Much better than the flu going around. We don't want that, but we like fresh energy.
Like
hey,
fresh
Ronnie.
energy. And energy is contagious, so that's why we remove ourselves from certain situations where we don't like the energy, because we know that we become it, or we know we're influenced by it, or we naturally just become better or become worse with the people we are around. And we have to, I think, broadcast that, because we are really responsible for who we are around and what it does for us, truly.
Yeah, that it's really hard because we are always connected. So that's always going to be a thing, And so I think, like you said, when we take that kind of like personal responsibility for ourselves, sometimes the right choice is to just find a new environment. But over time too, if we could try to go through the growth and self-development that helps us to affect the space in a positive way, like that would be like, the ultimate goal. And some days we just don't have it in us, but then on the days that we do, where we're feeling like really full and overflowing and able to kind of like radiate and emanate that, then we can affect the space. And so sometimes even just taking that pause beforehand, it's like, what do I want to bring in, so that you're already kind of prepared to emanate that, like, the deep, that deep graceful love as best as possible. So but it's always fluctuating, so we have to kind of like, am I more vulnerable today, or am I feeling real superpower today? And how you want to manage it all.
I think so. And then we just have to be honest with ourselves, and then see how honest the other people are around us too, when we're trying to figure out how we're sharing energy, because not everyone is going to disclose what's going on with them. Not everyone is going to be so open. And then we do our best, let's say, to be open, or maybe we're not comfortable being open too. So everybody's not always going to get the clearest version of another person, but we can't control that, but we can at least show up and honestly go, this is where I'm at, and this is what I'm comfortable with disclosing. And do I want to continue to be in this environment and to build off this energy? And do I have people who are willing to be open and honest with me to continue to figure out kind of what's going on? And you can do that in a way where, again, there is more connection or more letting go. Because no one is perfect, and we're always trying to find ways just to be better and grow constantly. And it's important to acknowledge our energy and other people's energy. And I really think a lot of people have difficulty doing that because there isn't that openness. And that's okay. Sometimes that's not your tribe, right?
Yeah. Ultimately, when we're in our best, in our like best version of self, we can embrace all of who we are and all of who everybody else is. And so we're accepting, the good and the bad, and everybody, we all have a shadow, or we all have a dark side. Everybody does, as part of being human. And the more we can, really love ourselves and love each other, and kind of be in that very high vibrational loving state, is a really good space to be. But it's kind of fleeting sometimes. Some days you really feel like you're there, and sometimes you don't. So you have to kind of honor where you are, like in the moment, because sometimes it's your vulnerability is needing you, and in that moment to take care of it, to take care of that as well. At the end of the day, everybody's just trying to protect their own innocence and their own tender heart. But it's the way we do it isn't always beneficial in the long run too. But that's what we're seeing when people aren't, acting in ways that are very kind. It's not who they really are. It's just how they're being right now, and it's what they've learned to protect themselves. But we can't change anybody else. All we can do is be our best selves that we can be. But the empowerment comes with really the deep love, but it's progressive. We're all getting there. We're all on the journey together.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point. We're all like just trying to protect our innocent heart, or, these tender parts of ourselves, our tender hearts. And are we protecting it in ways that is serving us short term or long term? Right. So we might,
Yeah.
do something for our protection, but is it what we really want in the end, or is it because we're overwhelmed right now and
Yeah.
this is all we can do and this is the choice we have to make? So I think it's important to understand like the reactivity of our choices, and what do we really want in the end, right? What do we want a year from now with the people in our lives, or the opportunities that we are building, or how our relationship with ourself? What is really going on with what we're doing when we are vulnerable with ourselves to know what we really want and need?
Yeah, you're absolutely right with that too. And I see a lot of stuff out there on social media, which is basically, you know, it's I'm going to reject you because you rejected me, and it's dressed up in fancy clothes in the way that it's worded. That sounds really good because it feels empowering to kind of like say you think you're taking your power back, and that I'm going to reject you for what you've done to me, kind of thing. But it's not our true authentic selves. We've still got armor on there too, and so ultimately we want to keep trying our best to come back to the open-hearted state, to love. Hi, Colin. Like coming back to love, and I know with me, if I've gotten triggered by something, I have to move through the emotions, but it feels so much better when I've come back to love, which is, like the heart, the home. And then I feel so much love for myself, so much love for the other person or the group of people or the world or society. And it was just it was a temporary outfit, that was on. And I was like, okay, now we're back again too. And it feels so much more open. It feels so much more, I feel so much, stronger, so much more high vibe, so much, and it's great. And I wish I could feel like this 24/7, if only. But like I said, it's all in the journey. We're all getting there. We're all working towards it.
Yeah, and I do think, like, back to the point too, we're all connected. So, like rejection, and separation, it's an illusion because we're all connected to this greater, overseen energetic force that really runs the universe. And you can look at it from a scientific perspective, or you can look
Yeah.
at it from a very spiritual perspective. So, boundaries are important, making choices are important, but really when someone is, going through hard times and they're removing themselves from situations, or they have to choose differently, it's just saying, this is what I'm doing with my energy, this is my intention. But we're all connected. So, maybe it reconfigures in the next lifetime. Maybe it reconfigures in 50 years. Maybe it reconfigures in 2 days. I don't know. But, you just kind of have to make peace with the divine order of things, because we don't get to choose divine order. It's the
Yeah.
collective. So that means it's our energy, it's another person's energy, and it's other people's energy, that finally everyone's on the same spiritual frequency where it harmonizes. And we know so many people within our lives where, you might be on a different harmonic frequency, and then all of a sudden something changes, whether it's good or bad, but the frequency changes. So divine timing is when everything is aligned, everything is harmonized. And when it comes to other people or situations, we can only work on our own harmonic frequencies and then leave the rest up to the divine timing.
Yeah, I love that, because we're not just like putting so much pressure on ourselves to think we can or have to control everything. Sometimes we want to, and then sometimes we absolutely don't want to. So it kind of depends on where we are too, and we forget too that, you know, we are part of a collective. We are part of this grid, this universal realm of duality and polarity. And from a soul perspective, this is giving us a broader perspective. There are no bad experiences or bad emotions. They're experiences. And if you ever realize how much you are enjoying listening to a sad song on the radio or on your, on your music app or something, like, and you realize like you're just really enjoying the emotions of that deep, intense kind of sad song, let that be a little light bulb that there's a part of you that is here to experience it all without judgment too. And so it's having to kind of like, oh, hold that too. It's like, oh, there is a part of me that is okay with what's happening and not judging it and feeling the intensity of it, with openness and open-heartedness as not being bad or wrong. And that can be a little hard for our minds to understand, but if you stop and think about it, you'll go, oh, okay. And so it's like making peace with that part of you, and which is, your soul, your unconscious, your subconscious, whatever you want to call it, and being okay with that. And then also giving so much love to yourself and to your heart, and to your inner child, or all the different parts of you, and then doing that. And it's like, once we can kind of hold both, that's where the real alchemy comes in, and we can really start ascending in our frequency, or really start transforming, and really be able to hold a lot of that light and beingness too. And it takes practice and dedication. It's it's not for the faint of heart to do that kind of work.
No, it's a lot of letting go. As you're acknowledging how much something means to you, it's a lot of letting go, and that can be applied in every single situation. Like, the disasters that have happened in, the United States, like people have lost their houses. Some of them have lost, animals and family members. And they have to practice a whole nother type of letting go, and returning back to this place of somewhat finding peace again. And Colin says that, and this is the overseer, and it's just so difficult the more difficult the situation is, but we are all responsible to be love. And I feel return to love. Something's going to shake us up, and we have to go, okay.
Yeah, these are the tower moments. By the way, Colin will be my guest on Embracing Infinity this Friday. So very excited about that. I know it's going to be great. But absolutely right. These are tower moments, and our homes are very often representative of ourselves. So we dream about our homes, we dream about our cars, things like that. And that's usually when we're going through some kind of transformation of self too, because they have a representation of all that we've built and all that we've done too. And so we identify that. So to lose something like that is going to almost undoubtedly spark an identity crisis in almost everybody, and there is profound grief in that. Not to mention, people, pets, like, losing a pet is like losing a child. So we're talking about some profound grief that's going to need a lot of love and grace and compassion. If we can send our prayers and our love, to anybody, there really isn't anybody that's not suffering in some way, somewhere. We're all going to be going through something as part of the human life, but there are some people they've really got it a lot right now that they're dealing with. And I think, my good friend Ronnie's on here as well, and he talks about how you help the Vietnam veterans, and he says, like, how can I help? What do you need? How can I help? What do you need? And maybe it's just a listening ear. Maybe it's just putting an energetic hug around them. Maybe it's a prayer. Maybe it's a little help. They need a ride, or they need help, buying a new pair of shoes or something. I don't know, and this is an opportunity for all of us to cultivate our own human-hearted compassion. Like there is a heart of humanity that we are all connected to, and that's very real, much more than all of the stories and everything, all the dramas that play out in our relationships, all there is like, so if we can connect to that heart of humanity, well, then I will say you have known God.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah, you're talking about, right, rising above it all and understanding that the tragedy and the chaos, that's not what makes us solely human. It's the light, it's the love too, and we're much more calmer, and we're much more, within our power when we rise and meet those parts of ourselves. So we get to choose what parts we want to activate, and it really truly is a choice every day. And the more we do that, the easier that choice becomes, and the more natural it just is with what our energy is. So everybody going through something, just please continue to make small choices and find yourself with people that can help elevate you to what you want to be and who you want to be, where you want to go, and to bring out the best parts of yourself. Because we need
love
it with
yourself.
Energy's heavy. The energy's heavy. We need that. We need that strength and discipline.
Yeah. And just love yourselves, your most vulnerable selves through all of it too. It's really easy for us when we're in our, in our grown-up selves to look at everything with perspective, but there's always going to be a younger version of us that, maybe doesn't see it that way. They're just, they just need love and tenderness, and to be held, and to be loved. And it's so, bring those parts out into the light by holding their hand, out into the light, into the sunshine, because we hide, we hide our vulnerable parts, they're hiding there in the darkness, wanting to be set free. And it can only happen through us, through our love of self too. So it certainly is wonderful when another person can hold our hand in the dark too. That is a beautiful gift. It's a graceful blessing of, it's like an angel coming in, and wrapping their wings around you too. But when you can do it for yourself, which is what we all probably need more practice on, then you've mastered something good. We are all just big kids. Exactly, Courtney. I know. I just let him go play with the fairies, and I got to do all this adulting stuff right now. I got a lot of big, long list of adulting stuff, and I just want to go play with the fairies.
There's that too. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you for your lovingness too. And yes, we're all just big kids, and some of us are, more adept in other places, and but we're all kids. We're all kids that just are figuring things out, and there's so much we don't know. And we can't be good at everything. We can't, and don't put your pressure on yourself like that. Just be a kid at heart. Like find those that you connect with and that you can grow with, as we're figuring out love. There's so many great comments. Let's go to the comments and start kind of stimulating some of that natural conversation.
That's true, Michael Christopher. Yeah, that's true. But that's what this is all about. We're helping to mature these parts of self that haven't had a lot of attention, because of whatever's happened in our early years. Yeah. Toughest school in the universe, but that is where the love is too. I love that, Lynn. Thank you.
Oh. Lynn, I sure hope it's the toughest school in the universe, because we're in trouble if it's not. But yes, it's a very tough school. I hear you. Oh, goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Jen and Kelly, thank you for entertaining the children today. Yes,
we definitely believe in being easy. Absolutely. Yeah. We are talking our way to happiness. Yeah.
Maybe release. Is he talking about release? To be in flow? Are you talking about to be without restriction? Let us know what you mean by that, Colin. And yes, Earth is the hardest school, LOL. And from Jessie Cat. And yes, we're doing our best as we can grow. I'm becoming a big kid. I love how people are acknowledging they're returning to their kids. Hello, Zoe. Hello, Zoe.
Hey, Zoe. Good to see you. Yeah.
Michael, I'll never graduate and be held back another lifetime, LOL. I mean, I think that's the whole point. Like, everyone's being held back, Michael, everybody, because we got a lot of work to do. It's that,
But
I mean, like, just think about it with like in the Indian philosophy and religion of like Hinduism, you're going through thousands of lifetimes until you obtain nirvana, and then like you release like moksha, like your ultimate bliss. And that's just, I hope I'm even getting that right. But yeah, it takes a long time.
You know, I could give a flip side of that though. And if you've come back to your you know, your inner child self and come back into that part of you, which is so open and so full of life and wonder and magic, if you've like brought that part back up, you know, to the surface, like maybe you've graduated, you know. Didn't somebody really famous say to become like a child again? You know,
Yeah, to
you
return to
know,
that simplicity. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. And I think that is the close to what Colin was saying. The emptiness is without all of the layers. You know, it's like the different. You know, if we put on let's say we went into our closet and started adding more and more layers, you know, not because it was cold, but because we, for fun, or because we thought we should, or something like that. We've just got, you know, the under layers and the next layer, and then we could have put a jacket and a hat and a scarf and you know, it's like we've got all of this, you know, on, and this is helping us to navigate the world. What happens if we start doing all of this and we come to our, you know, just pure hearted authenticity, which Ram Dass would always say, we are just loving awareness, you know, watching and experiencing it all. So that's where we get to that, the observer kind of part of it, but it's not this neutral observer with no, you know, with no feeling to it. It's loving awareness, you know, that holds all of it with no judgment, you know. And I think we all want to get there. It's just, how long can we maintain it? So pure love is at the center of emptiness. We're all working on it. Yeah.
We're all working on it. Exactly. And Lynn's joking with Michael with what he said. There's no grad school. Even though we're all working out, there's no grad school. I love that one. Aw, my neurospicy boy is into the Huggies jingle right now. I'm a big kid now. That's
I'm
cute.
a big kid now. I love it. I love it.
I used to sing that as a kid. That's great. Oh, I was into it.
I think maybe we need to buy ourselves, you know, we need to go out and like, I don't know, pick dandelions, or get yourself an ice cream cone if you can handle the lactose, or get yourself a balloon, or draw with chalk on the, you know, some people can't, it's too freaking cold where they are, but excuse me, but in California, it's actually, you know, it's in the low 70s. So this would be a day where you could do that, like take advantage of the sunshine if you can, or just, you know, wear all your layers of warm weather and just go out there anyways and do something fun, jump in the snow, you know, jump in the rain puddles for that part of you. And I think it would be very freeing and uplifting.
We all got to find something. And yeah, Michael's like, I need a vacation. I had kind of a vacation, like not completely a vacation, but kind of a vacation last weekend, and it was nice. It was restorative, but we had a lot of funny things happen with like reservations and stuff. So we were just like, whatever, just we want to relax. We want to relax. So it's funny how you have to embrace the vacation even when you're on vacation, because you don't know if your vacation is going to feel like a vacation. But I
sometimes
hear
you need a vacation from your vacation, because you get back and you're just exhausted from all of the fun or just all of the work and the travel, and you're like, then you need a vacation from your vacation. But yeah, it's those moments where like everything is happening at once. It's like one comical error after another that you get to the point where all you can do is laugh at the absurdity of it all, as I like to say. The jingles on the, oh, that's so cute, Courtney. Oh,
that's the essence of that. You don't even have to go outside. You could bang on your, you know, kitchen pots, or dance on the floor and imagine a piano's there. There's just so much to do. But yeah, like I think it's the simplicity of life. It's the simplicity of life, and remembering why we really want to like what we really want to do. And it doesn't have to be like some lofty dream. It's just what makes us happy, because when you're working with an energy practitioner, they're restoring you to your essence. And one of the techniques that is my favorite way to kind of shine light on that is from a spiritual teacher and psychic as well, Sonia Choquette, and she's all about like returning to your joy. So if ever you feel like low energy, or if ever you feel like you can't even get into the energy of spirit, let's say if you want to go to a development class and you're like, I'm just not going to go, I feel burnt out, I'm not in the correct energy, there's always ways to spark your energy and remember who you are. And you basically start listing off your joys that you already have embodied within yourself. And I'm telling you, as long as you are not overthinking it, and there's ways to help you to do that, and you just make a list out loud, and you repeat that list, or you say as many as you can quickly without thinking, all of a sudden your entire vibration changes. And to start to be comfortable in that energy and saying, well, I would like to feel like this all the time. Well, there's a million things that we can do to feel more like that. Of course, life is hard, but as soon as you can go, okay, well, I'm just a moment away from going back to where my true self is, that's where a lot of the power is, honestly. Living life by what the truth is, not the surrounding circumstances, because like Jennifer said, there's a lot of stories around us. There's so many stories going on with what people want us to believe about them, are telling us even about ourselves, how the world is constructed, why things happen. And you just have to go back to the simplicity like a child, where you're just like, okay, well, let's see if that's true. And hi, my name is Kelly. What's your name?
Want to play?
Exactly. Want to play? Oh, you're not in a good mood.
Want to come over to my house?
Exactly. Well, yes. The safety rate goes up the older we are. Want to go to my yard?
I got a big tree we can go climb.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I'm feeling like, we've actually all of us have already, what I want to say is uplifted, because I'm just feeling like this conversation, everybody's contribution right now, it's like I can feel the whole group of us has already just kind of like taken a breath, and we're just kind of like, oh, because this is kind of like what we probably all needed here, is this nice little midweek, uplift, refresher, energy refresher too. So it's quite beautiful, and I love that, we're connected, especially as human beings, we forget like the biology of us too, is like we're like, a pack of puppies. We're pack animals. We need each other. We need connection, and so it's important that we maintain connection with each other in the best way that we can, or a connection to nature, and so that we can feel that gratitude too, and then remember that, like you said, where we count all of our joys and all of our blessings, there's so many, and when you take just even a minute to do that, you can completely shift your energy too. And as we can very gracefully, with reverence, look at other people's circumstances, like the fires or the wars, and realize that if those people can survive and move forward in their life, then we can too. Not to because everybody's pain is sacred and deserves to be heard and loved too. But we do know that there are people who are less fortunate in ways than we are too, and that can help to remind us of what we're grateful for. And that's where we're making something positive out of something difficult. So we can turn into more positive, and then radiate that positivity outward, so that we're making a difference in somebody else's world, even a smile. Yeah. Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. It's important to have that perspective. We all have different heroes and inspirations. One of my heroes is this little cat, and he's on Instagram, and his name is Snapple. And he was born with a disability, but he has the biggest energy and personality, and he has a wheelchair that he gets to run around and walk, and he's not afraid of anybody. So he'll like go and do zoomies in hallways, and he wants to go out and meet with people. And the rescue, when he was born, they were thinking about putting him down because they're just like, oh, we don't know if he's ever going to have a good quality life. But there was a foster that took him, and she was like, oh no, he's so full of life, he's so energetic, he's so happy, she could tell that this was really, really important that he got nurturing. And then he just turned into like this very just vivacious, even more cat, with all just the love and additional help. And so originally they were going to put him down because they weren't sure. And then he grows up and he becomes like a mascot. He's been adopted, so he's not a part of the rescue anymore, but he was a mascot for the rescue for like a couple of months, and he like made $6,000 plus for them just because, he had Instagram videos and he was running around in his little wheelchair and he was so enthusiastic and so positive. And it's just like, that was a soul that made the absolute best of his circumstance. And it was so big, his light, that he was literally helping every other cat in that rescue, with funds, with visibility, with people going, wow, like this is such a cool cat, this is such a cool soul, that he helps thousands of other souls just by being himself and radiating his light. And this is a cat that's like my hero, right? But it's really the
Yeah.
embodiment of these were the cards that he was born into within his little body, within his life, and yet he's just this rock star.
Yeah,
so
that's amazing. I love that story. No, I love it. And there are stories like that, there's so many of them. We just have to look a little bit sometimes to find them. There's so many of these beautiful stories of how we've, risen above our circumstances and made the most out of our life. And that will in us to ice cream is a must in Iceland at midnight. I love that, Colin. That will in us to live, and to thrive and to move, is so strong, and it's so divine. It's like there's no way I could ever be convinced that I'm not spirit. When you feel that impulse within you, you feel that it's what you can't put into words, but it's amazing, and it's like, tap into that will, because it's a divine will that moves through each and every one of us. That's beyond our personality, and God bless our personalities. It's how we get to live these lives and tell our stories, which will be our legacy. It is our chapter in the book of the divine. But oh my gosh, that when that gets sparked, and a lot of us, when we have those spiritual awakening, it's that will that gets sparked one way or another. It's gonna get sparked, and it's gonna then become, and hence the phoenix coming out of the ashes and so forth. But
sure. And then how long can we nurture that spark? Because I know that people wake up and they're like, I feel it, my life's gonna change. I feel it. And it's just like, good, use that, but then don't lose it just because there's something outside of yourself that tests that. Keep that kindled, within, and keep returning back to that so you can strengthen it. Because the world is actually made to break us. It's made to make us grow, test us. It's made to be a mirror where it goes, do you really believe that? We go, I love myself. People love me. Do you really believe that you love yourself? Is that real? Is that real? Do you really believe that people around you love you? The world's going to test every thought and every, part of you. And maybe not every part in every lifetime, sure, but it's made to go, do you know this as a soul, like so purely that all these complexities will melt away, and it just returns to the truth of, yes,
Yeah.
it's just this. It's just this. So yeah, we have to kindle our flames constantly. We have to, pretty soon you might even come to a place where you don't have to protect your flame because you've mastered how to keep it lit. But there are phases in our lives where we do have to protect as we're learning, as we're establishing. But yeah, keep it strong. Michael Christopher, for a second, he's like, we're heading haunted Deadwood. But if you want to go live on the 7th, Michael, I'm happy to facilitate. That's what I have to say to you. So just you let me know about that.
I love it. Yeah, it's really easy to talk about. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's
Give a shout out
really
to Debbie. Love to
yeah,
Debbie.
yeah. And I know she's a great teacher and beautiful soul. And it's really easy for us to talk about love of ourselves or each other when we're not very stressed, when things are going kind of well, but then the test comes and it's like, okay, can you love me now? Can you love me now? Can you love me now? Whether it's yourself or another person or a situation or the global perspective or things like that. And for some reason, this reminds me of a movie. I think it's got Keanu Reeves in it, but it's called Little Buddha or something like that. And he's searching for
that's a great movie. Yeah.
And he
I
gets
think I have
tested.
that back there.
Do you?
I think I have Buddha on the shelf. Yeah.
Really like old movie. But as he grows up and he's in his meditative state, he's in this very centered meditative state, and you can see all these little like dark, like dark spirits kind of like circling around him. It's and it's all an illusion, but he's learning not to attach to it or not to let it affect his ability to love and be at peace, and to stay open, like the emptiness that Colin talks about too. And so you see all the little black ghoulies flowing around him and stuff like that, and he's just like this and like it. And that's kind of like what we are too. And a lot of times those dark things can just be manifestations of the higher self, testing the spirit, the us, that is having this experience, because we're still our higher selves up here too, so it's this thing happening together. And so that's like where the tests come in. And I think maybe that's a good perspective. Like maybe this is a test, a test of love, because when I was going through a really intense part of my awakening, I would just keep getting the feedback, Jennifer knows more love now, so I realized that my, the lesson of love, of knowing it on another level and another level and another level, through experiences. And if, to get the experiences, stuff has to happen, hence we're going to experience things that are very hard. Maybe it's the rejection, the betrayal, abandonment, all of these kinds of things that are universal, that we all experience at one time or another. And then learning how to still love after that, ourselves and each other. It's not easy, but we can all do it because we're spirit. Of course we can.
There's always a way, there's always a way. And sometimes it's not fulfilled in this lifetime. And that's the ultimate peace, I think. If you can be okay with, this will never be rectified in this lifetime, but I've put in the work where I've added the brick to the foundation and I'm just going to keep going. And some of those things you absolutely can change in this lifetime without a doubt. But just knowing there's always a way with spirit, even though we don't know how it's going to go. Sarah's talking about the main thing is my purpose and higher consciousness. I'm working on it. And I mean, this is what we're kind of talking about now. We're having very much a crown chakra kind of type of show where we're talking about, cosmic identity, connectiveness, togetherness, transcending, and having peace and forgiveness to transcend these stories and these weights and these difficulties that naturally are supposed to come up in our life. Whether it's people, circumstances, or every which way. Imagine every which way.
Yep.
We go, what's the meaning of this? What's the energy of this? And to have the bravery to look at it. Like consciousness is the awareness.
Yeah.
The awareness is having that sensory and extrasensory experience of actually integrating and being a part of that chaos and conflict, and then making sense of it, sure, but allowing it as well. It's like the balance of being in it and also the allowance of just it is what it is. And
Yeah.
when we're closer to that in awareness, we start to understand what energies are at play, and then we can start to read those in other people and in ourselves.
Yeah, very true. I love how you said that. And it does take a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to look at stuff, but then after a while you get the hang of it. You really do. And it's just we've made it a habit of suppressing and pushing away. And it's important we talk about this because we are like I see we're in spiritual land and we feel like we're supposed to be just love and light all the time. And if we have to be careful that doesn't turn into a persona and then we're rejecting our negative thoughts. We have to be careful with law of attraction because it can tell us that if we have a negative thought, something bad's going to happen. That's not necessarily true. So we have to be a little bit careful with this stuff, that we're willing to kind of look at the darkness as a teacher for us, as the challenges or as those tests. And the more we are able to do it with all encompassing big love, then we can do that integration that you're speaking of too, and reach that higher consciousness, that crown chakra beingness too. But we have to be willing to look at it. And so be careful if a negative thought kind of comes in your awareness and you try to, oh no, you do that. We do that so easily. And then it's like instead catch it and go, oh, what was that? Where did that come from? Oh, what are you trying to tell me? What's behind that? And you might find there's another layer behind that and another layer behind that, and another layer behind it. And that's how you start getting back to your vulnerable child self again, and that part of you that really is saying, hey, can you see me? I'm in here. I'm out here. Whoa. Hey, mom, dad, because you are the mother or the father and the God to that part of yourself too. So I don't know where that came from, but I guess it needed to be said.
Yeah, just we have to be acquainted with different parts of ourselves.
Yeah.
We talk about the childlike essence, but yes, like to the essence of being the patriarch and the matriarch too, of what is right and what is wrong for us, and honoring our feminine and masculine energy. That's truth. That's simplicity. That just is what it is as well, just like as the archetype of being childlike and free. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, Michael's talking about it right now. We're gonna announce it actually later this week too. Michael, Christopher, and Jennifer Lee are having a show on Sacred Spiral Network. We're really blessed to have them, and it's going to be spiritually imperfect. It's kind of like what we're talking about right now. Like we don't have it figured out, but let's talk about it. Everyone relax, right?
Yeah. And there is so much perfection in the imperfection. It's imperfectly perfect. And you've all heard that phrase before. I love that. And Kelly, congratulations, because the network is growing so beautifully. You've been almost a year now, right? And so you're coming up on an anniversary. And I just want to say, and you've got a lot of new shows coming on. So you've been working your tushy off on that one. And it's like, congratulations. And I'm so really, really, really proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you. Yeah, it's a lot of good energy and positivity. And I can just feel like spirit world is so happy for you and everybody who's got a show on and what's being created. And it's a labor of love, and there's a lot of love there. So
it's true. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been a year since I opened the doors, and I was trying to grow it, beyond just, the foundations of what I could do for myself. So in January of 2024, that's when I started learning a lot and seeing how I could just juggle things to accommodate and what I ultimately want to do. And Jennifer, thank you so much for the positive energy that you're reinforcing. I just want people who are, really, they're here to help people and share their gift. They have platforms to do that so people can find them, because there's so many wonderful people out there that people have no idea about. And there's people who want to work and want to share, and they just, it's empty energy. Like, we want to keep the energy moving. And it's just like, if you have a love within you and you've been devoted to this work and you have responsibility in your craft, then if I can help you, sure, I would love to. I want to make things easier for everybody in the technology sphere so people won't have to overthink it and work. And just like knowing that they're supported and people really do care and people really do want to interact and need help on this level, like just spiritual conversation and validation.
Absolutely.
I could talk
I
about
love
it
it.
for 50 hours.
I know.
So anyway.
We're kind of like you and me. We're kind of like fairy godmothers, because I do the same thing with my service. I just want to provide a platform for the mediums and people to share their gifts, so they have a place that they can do their mediumship with, in front of a group platform style. And you're doing the same thing with the network, which is really big. You're reaching like hundreds and thousands of people, and it's gonna make a really big difference. It really is. It already is.
I'm really happy. And I hope, everyone coming in is happy too. And it's my job to just make people as happy as I can with what I can provide on my end. So I'm glad you're dancing. It's hilarious. I love it.
It's so fun because, we've got this friendship circle that keeps growing and expanding and kind of webbing out. And we're all growing up together. We're all growing up and finding our wins and our successes and just expanding together, and it's really beautiful to see. I've watched people who I've been friends with over the years, and they're all like, they're flying, and then they're soaring, and they're creating, and they're just being them. And it's like, look at all of us. We're all doing it, we're all doing it. And it's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the whole thing. It's like, everyone keep going and take care of yourself along the way. And it's going to be a very interesting life, and more than not, a very good life. In life, we're supposed to experience it all. But if you are truly listening to your heart and soul, and you are doing the work to make way for that, it's going to be a better life than not.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
Great.
It gets better.
What we're doing with that.
Yeah.
With what we're doing, with what everyone's doing, because you're encouraging everyone to be themselves. I've had to have teachers to remind me and encourage me to be myself just by watching them work. They might not even have talked to me, right? But just by watching them work, I go, okay, yeah, that's important. That's what authenticity looks like. They're being themselves. They're happy.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to go to some, there's just been so many comments. Is there anything that really caught your eye to talk about too along the way? Because we've just been.
Let me take a little peek here.
There was a lot up top. I don't know if you can interact.
I know. Yeah. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, wow.
Nancy's giving us love.
Thank you. I'm proud of you too, Nancy. Oh my gosh.
Jennifer's giving us. So proud and appreciate
you, Jennifer. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Michael. And everyone, I'm like 5 minutes behind in the comments. I'm sorry. I'm multitasking. So like all the thank yous, like they're delayed, but they're very much taken to heart.
Yeah. Does anybody have any like spiritual questions that they want to ask about spiritual
some
topics?
People did up top. I can go.
Yeah, I was looking. I can't. I'm not. Let me see here. Let's see here. So we had the dream. We had the snake dream from Courtney.
We had the dream. Someone said they're working on their consciousness. We talked about that a little bit. Let me find it. This one, we didn't really talk about, but this was a great comment. We were talking about like letting go and rising, and like being in our power and our presence. And I thought this was because we were like, just asking people to comment as we're talking. And Krista was talking about, I guess, just peeling out many layers of emotions and acknowledging our fears and so much more. Like we're talking about doing the spiritual work. So that was something I kind of wanted to go to. And then she was joking about that. She's like, oh my God, how many lifetimes do we really have to go through? Like, oh my God, because she was talking, we're in the essence. We're in the essence. So we can cover that. And we can also, let's see where someone was talking about, I think T. Lynn. I don't know if T. Lynn is still here with us, but she was talking about her angels. And last time we weren't even talking about angels, and I was doing a reading, and I was like, there's a protector angel around you. And then she said she was going more into meditation, and she was asking how to work with our angels and guides. So that's also another question up top.
I'd love to address the fear, just another way of looking at fear, if it's okay, is just, I think there's this, there's sort of a theme of like conquering your fear. And but I had this come to my awareness too, of another way we could look at it of, what would we do if like, a little one was scared? What would we do? We would probably want to like hold their hand or encourage them. Maybe they do need a little bit of a nudge or a little bit of a push, those kinds of things. But it's a loving approach, versus kind of like divide and conquer. You know what I mean? So I just thought like that would be like a loving approach to looking at fear. And it's like who is the one that's afraid? In your multidimensional self, and it's like, how can we help that part move through the fear without becoming the fear or identifying with the fear so much, if that makes sense. So we still have like the spaciousness. So it's just another approach I just wanted to offer with that too. And sometimes we do need that little push, so because sometimes it's not until you actually do the thing you're afraid of that you can do it again. You can get up and do it again. Oh, that wasn't so bad, And another thing is because we tend to gravitate towards the familiar and towards safety as kind of a human instinct of survival, is to take, little risks and make little changes on a regular basis. So to learn to adapt, be more adaptable. So maybe it's like just trying a new food at the restaurant you normally go to, ordering something different, or going to a new restaurant, taking a different route, really like mixing up your day with small things, and realizing like that, and that teaches that part of you that tends to gravitate towards the familiar and the safety part of it that doesn't want change, to actually realize that change is not so scary. And so then when the bigger things happen, we developed that kind of muscle approach to it. It's like, okay, I can handle this. Like the world doesn't end if I do this differently, or if this happens. And another thing that's come to my mind realizing too is like, just even stopping to think about it, like, okay, what if this did happen? What if this thing I'm afraid of did happen? What would I do? And most of the time you are going to end up with, I will survive this. I will find a way. I will get through it. I will grow from it. Right. And that takes then you've already kind of worked through that emotion of that fear, or that, what's the worst that could happen. And then it's kind of what that does is it helps to release the charge of that emotion. The charge then gets kind of like neutralized and moved through too. So just thought I would offer a couple just different approaches. I hope that's helpful too.
That was I couldn't find the original comment because there were some others I wanted to go to. So because there's such a gap. That's the only reason I didn't drop down. But that was for Crystal, because she was wondering like about fear, and you gotta meet fear, go within the places within yourself where it's coming up, and have a conversation with those parts. And That's step one. And then there's so many lovely things that Jennifer said with that as well. So Teelan, I'm going to touch on this. And then there's like another one. Teelan, she's talking about angel guides. What situation shall I call upon him? Ask spiritual guide to give more clarity with visions and experiences. I think it's important with guides and angels that you just sit down and you have a conversation with them. And really, it should be really neutral and open, like, hi, tell me about yourself, like, hi, like, help me feel who you are, or ask them questions and be more like curious, like you're learning, because rather than you're describing or you're telling what you wish, or are you like this, are you like that, well, do you do these things for me? It's like, no, just literally allow them to imprint upon what they wish to share with you, because they can hear us much better than we can hear them. So they have to actually teach us how we can hear them and sense them. So that's really, really important, to be really patient and allow that process to happen. But they might flash you things like they're your protector, or they help like to inspire you, where they give you like light and illumination, or they might be a healer angel or healer guide, where they light up your heart, and they make you feel all warm and cozy. And there's a lot of different roles, but the one that I saw for you, and I don't know if it's this one or another one, it was this really, really big angel wearing all this silver light around its body, almost like armor. I don't know if it was, but all this silver light around his body and huge giant white wings. And that was really pretty. And it did feel a little bit more like a warrior protector angel. It really did. But just continue to learn. And it's our job to encourage others how to be more sensitive, because that's your special relationship, and they're coming to you to teach you rather than me describe it to you. You have to experience it and learn it too. So there's that. And then also Anastasia, she was talking about something that she was going through earlier, and she says, I can't let go. There's no feeling of closure, desperately seeking contact with somebody for even a bit of peace. So what would be your, I guess, energetic advice within that, and something you wish to share to Anastasia, if she's still with us?
That's really hard. That happens to so many people when relationships change. Yeah. And you're not able to get the closure you want, or that conversation. And I can imagine that's probably creating a whole lot of like mental, chaos of trying to figure it out and try to understand what to do. So I just want to say, like, I know that's hard. So I'm just giving you love right now too. And we don't always get that. We don't always, I know we all would like to have it, but we don't always get it too with the closure. So what can you do for yourself is take care of you. And I know it sounds really super simple, but it really is the best thing that you can do. Because even if you were to get the answer or get the closure, it may still not satisfy that part of you. And so the only one who can is you. So I'm so sorry for what you're going through, though. I know that that's really, really hard. And, we miss people, and energy is connected, and it's difficult. And just to keep moving forward and let it unfold day by day. But what I promise you is, if you're willing to really take care of you, and however you do that in the many different ways that you can, there will be rewards for that, and things will come to clarity and illumination for you, and you'll get those like aha moments. I'm also hearing Spirit say too, if you could take some time for some quiet space, and allow Spirit, or invite Spirit just to help with some just kind of like clearing of the mental energy, grounding the energy down into your body, down in here. And that's going to help, because we pull a lot of energy up into the mental space. I can feel it when I'm doing it. And then I remember, just bring it down. And I use that energy to hug myself. That's what I do with it. I bring it down in my body, and then I hug my heart like really, really tight. And then it takes practice, because then it wants to pop back up again. And you just got to go back and just keep hugging it, keep hugging it, keep hugging it, bringing down anything you can do grounding. But you may have to do this for a while to where you can finally get out of the loop too. And also remember, Anastasia, that your soul is having this experience and it's not judging it either. So your soul, or part of your unconscious mind, is like embracing it all too, and that's all right too. And so that can help give you a little bit of spaciousness as well. If that makes sense too? It's like, okay, there's a part of me that's having this experience and is learning from it, and therefore is okay with it too. And it's a different way of looking at it, but it actually can help get you out of the loop, if that helps. So I hope that's helpful for you. All my love to you. I've given you a big hug.
Yeah, that's a very difficult one. I think we have to have these breakthroughs when we are going through situations with people, and there's a part of us that can't let them go. We have to have this spiritual breakthrough. And you might have had that in the past with other people, where there was something that you had to have happen or transpire. And if it was outside of you and you're like, well, something just happened and we were able to let go, or I was able to move on. So think about something in the past. Think about energetically how it made you feel when that happened. A circumstance where you're like, well, I couldn't control it. I just got to let go. Or, wow, I saw that person's true colors. Or I was in a place where I was healthier, so I could let it go. So employ some of those things now, because there's a reason why it worked before, why you were able to let another person go when you wanted to let them, still be in your life. So, and you mentioned something else before. I could say a lot more, but I'll just keep it a little shorter. There's also something important to talk about, because you're saying, I can feel them all around, and sometimes I feel like I'm connecting to like bad spirits. Well, it's important to identify energy as, just healthy too as well. Sometimes when we're not healthy, we're not going to have healthy associations with the sensitivities and the feelings and stimulations around us. So sometimes energy is not good, sure. And then sometimes we're just not in a healthy space. So it's all about what Jennifer said, grounding, getting healthy, so you can actually be in a clear space as you're dealing with what you're dealing, because you need to give yourself at least that shot, and at least give yourself that, strength before you're even tackling anything else. There's way too much mental energy going on. That's what Jennifer also said as well. And it is causing you to go out of control and loop and loop and loop. So ground, get healthy, and try to look in other areas and not just in this one area. You'll return back to it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Your brain's going to dart you back here anyway. It's important to put your time and attention on other things, because you're going to have more than enough time to still try to process this one, because you're in the loop. But
and chances are, like, so, if this is a person who's just like completely ghosted you, I don't know the situation, and I'm not looking into it psychically, but just from more of a spiritual, psychological, energetic level too, chances are you've experienced this kind of rejection and abandonment before. And so that's underneath what you're experiencing now. So that's why it's like in The Peaceful Warrior, there's a line where this character named Joy says to Dan, this is a scary moment for you. And she goes, are you paying attention to it? So really pay attention to it. Take some time for you to go within, and absolutely take care of your physical health too. So it makes things much easier to move through. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's the loss of your dad. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah. And you didn't get some kind of closure from that. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Using my dad's shell physical body, but it wasn't him. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sometimes, we within our grief or within what we're going through, we're energetically processing things. And so we're going to be looking at what's in front of us within the layer of our own grief or fear or sadness. And so we just have to get really, really healthy and really, really neutral as we are trying to interpret the energies. Because, yeah, there's a lot of grief and a lot of pain here. And you're a year in and you're doing amazing for even talking about it and saying that I'm still weathering this and I'm not doing well, but I'm trying. And you're looking for help. And that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I'm so sorry for your loss too. And grief has its own timetable. It really does. And it can come out when you're least expecting it sometimes. And it's one of the things that connects us all with humanity. And it's love, it's connected to love. What I do know, Anastasia, is that your father loves you and is in spirit world. They've been through, the healing process, the review process, all of that. So like as psychic medium Steve Spur likes to say, they're angelic. Once they go over in a spirit world, they're angelic because they're fully integrated back with their higher self and are nothing but love and help for you now. So know that your dad is a guardian angel on your side that's with you. Sometimes these experiences, like you've had the terrifying experience, what I'm going to say is sometimes when we're in a spiritual awakening process, or if we've got some really like deep fears that are coming to be processed, they can be a little bit illusionary in nature. And you can use that as a teacher for yourself too. But I don't want to minimize how scary an experience that was for you. But when people are going through transformation and awakening, things can get pretty Alice in Wonderland-y down the rabbit hole, and we can be presented with a lot of illusionary experiences that can be quite dark. But dark doesn't mean evil or negative spirits and all of that. Our higher self can manifest these. The unconscious mind can manifest these, and as long as we use them as a teacher and approach them as what does this have to teach me about who I am as a soul, as a being, then you will have kind of like transcended that experience. And I do feel, Anastasia, you're going to be really discovering what a strong and beautiful spirit and soul that you are through all of this too. And please just take good care of you. Take good care of you. And I'm so sorry for your loss.
I'm so sorry for your loss. And, I just feel like your father just comes in for a second and he just says, "I love you, angel darling." And there's something very just like poetic and very beautiful about him. I don't know if you saw pictures of him when he was younger, Anastasia. I'm picking up parts of him, but like they're, especially when he was younger, because he's returned back to when he was younger, and that's mostly how they like to present themselves. They don't always present themselves like that, but he's quite younger, and he's a really handsome guy, and he's back to like that just like very graceful kind of carefree kind of poetic kind of way about him. Maybe he shared that with you or not, I'm not sure, but I'm aware that he has to remind you, look back of when I was younger, look back to when I was carefree, and it's like it's all back, and it's almost like he's dancing like he's in a musical, like he moves like he's in a musical, like he's very just poetic, creative, like it has almost like this gentle flow. And again, I don't know to what extent he shared that with you within this lifetime, but look within his eyes and how he dressed when he was younger. And there's going to be a spark of that you see within him, that gentleness and that beauty, and kind of like almost, you know how some people are not of this world and then things happen to them and they just become a lot more harder and serious. there's like a twinkle in your dad's eyes when he was younger. Find a picture of him when he's in his 20s and you'll see that like he's really edging that is really important for you to see and who he really is, and he wants you to feel that. So
yeah.
I'm gonna let
I was seeing like the little feet on top of the Big Daddy shoes and the little hands holding the Big Daddy hands. It's so cute, so sweet. It's really, really sweet, you know. And so imagine yourself, you know, walking in a field of garden flowers with him too. I feel like that will bring you joy, and perfectly okay to get help with grief, to see a grief counselor or a therapist. I know Nadia Barami from Ireland is a grief educator too, so that could be somebody that you could reach out to as well. She really knows her stuff when it comes to grief, and she helps people with that too. The sleep paralysis. That happens a lot with both stress and because it has to do with the body waking up and the mind kind of waking up at a different times. But I do know people have that experience when they're going through. This is where you can't separate the physical and the spiritual and the psychological. They're all interconnected and interwoven together too. But those are very spiritual experiences too that we have, and I know those can be a little bit scary too. But I like what you're saying. He was the biggest character in the room. He was the party. So charismatic and loved by everyone. Definitely handsome. That's so beautiful. Thank you for your sharing your open heart with us, Anastasia. And I know like Spirit World is making me want to cry, because it's like what you've shared and this whole discussion that's gone around what you've shared too is going to help a lot of people who are experiencing similar things, maybe in different ways too. And so you've given a gift to all of us here today by sharing and by asking your questions. So you've been a leader here today. Thank you.
Absolutely. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if your dad would have wanted to sing and dance. I don't know if he ever did, but that was like, again, the world kind of changes you in certain ways. So even though he was charismatic, and I love that he had that candor, just I don't know, there's something else he wants you to know about himself if you don't already know it. So I have to just hand that off to you before you go. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I am going to say thank you, everybody, for coming. Jennifer, I give the guests the last word. Is there a final message that you would like to share with everybody before we go?
Oh gosh. Thank you, everybody, for just joining here today and being with Kelly and I. And thank you, Kelly, for having me on your show again, too. We got to go really deep and spiritual today, but I feel like that was needed. But we also had a lot of upliftment when we talked about our inner child beingness for all of us, too. So please, may we, take all of that in and embrace us. And it's really just like one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. Keep getting up, the next day, keep growing. It's just keep growing and keep going. It doesn't have to be super complicated, and find lots of ways that you can love on you, find lots of ways that you can love each other, and find lots of ways that you can count your blessings, and your reality and your life will change. And therefore the external world around you will also change, because we're all connected. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here, Jennifer. And you will see me and Jennifer on Friday for the Psychic Hour and Embracing Infinity. And so I'll be doing readings on Friday. And Jennifer has Colin Walker as her guest too. And that's on this week at 12 p.m. and then for myself at 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. So join us then. We will see you very soon in a couple of days. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.